So the next part here is you need to go and remove this housing that's in here. You'll start, as we talked about earlier, taking the two bolts off and the little tabs. And then to get this whole entire housing out, mine's been out not too long ago. Yours, if it's never been out, it's going to be a fun experience for you. So there's going to be some little tips I'll show you here, which you can kind of see on the right side of how I've done it in the past. There's a puller you can get. It's super expensive. I don't feel like I need it because I went a different route. So I got this puller here. I believe it's for pulling a harmonic balancer off a vehicle. I've had it for a while, and I've used it in this case to pull the this little housing off in here. So basically what I did is I went to the hardware store and got some chain, and I'll measure this here for you just in case you're wondering how long mine is here. You can try to duplicate it yourself. Roughly 10 inches of chain. The links that I have here, you can see about an inch and 3/4. So if you're gonna do it this way, I recommend you get the bigger chain. The smaller chain, you're gonna have problems. I use a Dremel, as you can see here, and I cut this link pretty well flush, and then I made a little loop like that. And like I said, the bigger chain you get, the better you're gonna be, just so you know. And if you have any questions about what type of puller this is, I'll do some research and just post a comment in the questions field, and I'll tell you what kind that is. But you can pick something like this up off of AutoZone. And then you also need like a magnet, just like I have here. And just so you're aware, you're going to take your little chain, and they hook in there. That's kind of where I'm not even going to try to do it just with one hand. You want to stick the magnet in there and kind of loop it around there, and then do the same thing with this bottom one here, and use your chain to do it. Like I said, there's a puller to do it, but I mean, you can do this same process with a few dollars worth of chain, and then yeah, I mean, you can still use bolts later on, and these lengths of chain just for just about anything. But I'll go ahead and get started looping the chain around the specific pieces, and then I'll set this up with a bolt facing this little guy right here, so you can kind of see what it looks like when it's all installed. Alright, so you can kind of see I've got one of the links hooked in there, and if you take some time with your Dremel so you can make this happen. But if you see, I'm not sure if the lighting is very good here, so I can get it to focus. You can actually see how the chain link actually sits right underneath the other side of this housing piece. It's a good grip that way. Okay, so I got the other one linked up as well, just like that. And you'll see we got a heck of a good grip here. So you just use these little bolts and attach the puller like that. I'll get everything assembled up, and then we'll start tightening it and see what it does. Okay, so what do you think? I put the prop nut on there to keep this puller as I'm cranking it down, so this whole entire puller doesn't fly off. But I mean, it's pretty simple, right? I mean, this bolt here. So this is it. Yeah, you just put your prop nut on it over here. That kind of helps keep the entire pulley, puller in place. And I've got two bolts and nuts here. This thing was a few bucks, and chain was a few dollars. I mean, this definitely beats spending 200 plus bucks on that custom puller that they sell. And like I said, this works just the same. First time you use it, there's some little isms about it that are kind of different. You'll figure it out as you're pulling it out. But all in all, I mean, this is pretty simple. You use a Dremel to make those chain links and some bolts, and that's it. So anyway, without further ado, I'll go ahead and start cranking on this, and you'll see what it does. Okay, so pulled it. Made some pretty good progress so far. Super easy. Mine's been out last year, so I don't suspect any real problems with mine. If you haven't had yours out in 10, 15, 20, or basically never, this is going to suck a little bit. I mean, this seal in here, where it's pulling that this little housing off from, is definitely going to be stuck a little bit. So expect to take your time a little bit as you're doing this, but you'll see.